So Royce Simmons leads out the Penrith Panthers here at the Sydney Football Stadium, getting ready for the major preliminary semi-final.
Been a disappointing effort by Penrith in recent semi-final series. They have had limited success. They went straight out the back door last year, but with new coach Phil Gould, rest assured they'll be well prepared today.
Billy, their last 8 games, they've conceded just 6 tries, including 3 against Western Suburbs. So their defensive record has been superb in recent weeks.
Well, they're out there. We're waiting for the Brisbane Broncos, and here they come now. And it's G. Miles leading the way, and these boys are keyed up, I can tell you that. They've trained very well this week. And this, of course, is a big test. And as David Forden said a short time ago, history in the making for the Broncos as they make the semi-finals for the very first time.
Yes, they deserve to be there. Gene Miles was in some doubt leading up to this match after making a comeback from a knee operation. He did injure his foot last week, but Gene Miles has taken his place in the side. And interestingly enough, Terry Madison and Bob Conway, 2 forwards, are the fresh reserves. Alan Langer will be in for a big game. That's his opposite number in Greg Alexander. And Phil Gould, the very astute coach in Phil Gould, will be looking for a very solid performance. I think if Brisbane can get their noses in front, I would think that they can really go on with it. Brisbane, for mine, deserve to be favourites. They have 7 internationals and 4 state players in their side.
That's a referee for today, and Eddie Ward, and it's quite a feather in his cap to be appointed for this match this afternoon.
It's a vote of confidence, Bill, that he is regarded as the #1 referee in the New South Wales Rugby League, which is a great thing for a Queenslander.
Yeah, but you can be there 1 minute and gone the next. The time will tell, but he's done a great job, of course, and he gets his reward today. So here's the kick-off now. Going to be taken back there by Walters.
Immediate tactics come into play, Bill. They angle the ball to that right-hand side of the field, but have kicked left, forcing Brisbane to come across. Now, Brisbane wouldn't be prepared for this passage of play. Normally, they kick deep to the goal post and have forwards rucking it out. Brisbane are in disarray already. Credit to Gould.
So Alan Langer came across as the dummy half on that occasion, put down just inside the quarter line. This is Mark Hone. Hone is going to be put down by Cartwright. Away from dummy half, back to G. Miles. Big kick downfield. 4th tackle he kicked on that occasion. Taking it up this time is Green.
Brisbane left very early there at that play the ball. They want to be careful they don't get caught inside the 5 metres in attack.
Going across field over there from the dummy half is Alan McIndoe, who's been out for quite some time. At one stage was suggested he could be out for the season, but he's back, and we'll be watching how he measures up here today. So it's Penrith now in possession, midway between the quarter and halfway. First penalty of the match coming up.
Inside the 5 metres, Kieran Walters decided that he was going to get a bit of body contact in there as well. Well and truly after the whistle had been blown by Eddie Ward. A penalty to Penrith, just inside their own half. They'll look for touch, and this has been a pretty handy start by the Panthers.
So there's the kick by Greg Alexander. We'll find touch 9 metres inside Broncos territory. So from the tap, they try to take it up there with Clark. Clark will be put down, though. The defence coming in fairly strongly. Hone and Dowling. So now they decide to let it go across field. That's Izzard. Izzard pushed out of 1 tackle. That of Chris Johns. Alan Langer grabs a hold of him, though. Alexander away from dummy half.
See the importance of the marker working hard, and Langer was the man there. He's marking again.
Roy Simmons from dummy half this time. Gets it across over there to Van der Voort. And Van der Voort knocked over. They're 30 metres out from the Broncos line. Simmons will send it back. Now cutting out one player, then getting across to Bentley.
Must have been an obstruction there. Eddie Ward's missed it. That's the 5th tackle.
So right on the quarter line, they'll swing it across field. Now Alexander's going to put it up nice and high. It eventually bounces away, and the Broncos come away with it with Walters. So they have possession about 10 metres out from their own line. And let's take a touchline now with Tony Durkin.
Bill, again, a magnificent day in Sydney for semi-final football. The conditions are absolutely gorgeous. The ground's in terrific condition again. Probably the biggest disappointment today is the crowd, and a relatively small crowd here, considering this is a major semi-final of the weekend. I'd say nowhere near the 30,000 we had here yesterday.
So this is Greg Dowling taking it up. 20 metres short of the halfway mark. And that gorgeous sunshine out there. Back to Shearer. Shearer now gets a kick in. Plenty of Broncos players down there.
Well, they were, Bill, but Shearer seemed to take an eternity to get that kick away. He was almost being too fancy as he tried to beat a couple of players and only just got the kick in.
So now it's Penrith in possession.
Brisbane's defence looking very solid in the early minutes.
Yes, they drove them back a little bit on that occasion. Now there's the mistake coming up. Vandervoort dropping it, knocking it on.
Mark Hayne hit heavily as he tried to come through to retrieve the loose ball.
By the way, in the reserve grade match here today, Penrith defeated North Sydney by 18 points to 12, so they'll play the Broncos next week, Penrith. So they're off to a flying start here at the football stadium today. Shearer. Shearer moves it up to the about 25 metres out from the Penrith line. Sorry, North will play Brisbane next week. Penrith go on from there. So back across over there, this time to Dowling.
This time he's run off the dummy half, and that's why he got belted.
Walters still working away across field now, gets it away to Willie Kahn. Kahn grabbed by Fittler, had him by the collar and threw him down. Final tackle over to Alan Langer. He's going to put it up, not a bad one from Alfie. They're pouring through out after it. Jackson going there, but it's bounced away, dived onto the in-goal area.
Knocked forward by Brisbane in the in-goal area, therefore a restart on the 22-metre line. Was a good kick, this one. Dale Shearer tried to catch it, but ended up flat on his face. Restart with a 22-metre tap.
So they take that tap. And don't gain much ground on this occasion. From the play the ball back to Cartwright. Dowling coming in over the top. Simmons is the dummy half now. No points on the board here. At the moment, that's Vandervoort. Simmons is dummy half. Working across over there to Mortimer. Back again with Simmons, Alexander. Fourth tackle and taken back there quite nicely by Dale Shearer. Turns around, there's plenty of Penrith defence in front of him. It's led off by Alan McIndoe. Fittler joins in also. Away from dummy half is Kahn. He's going to be wrapped up. Dummy half Walters back to Gene Miles. Gino up the centre, 12 metres short of the halfway mark. Kieran Walters over there to G. Defensive Penrith getting up fairly strongly though and puts him down. Dowling. Dowling settling it up the centre. The final tackle there just short of halfway as Walters swings it back to Miles. Miles at crossfield on this occasion. Bouncing right over there. Defence getting up fairly quickly. That's Michael Hancock leading off. And eventually they put Paul Smith down on the quarter line. G the tackle on that occasion. Green playing it now for Penrith. Back over in centre field, taking it up is Walker. Well, we expect a lot of the play from Penrith's point of view to centre around their good forward pack who keep it moving. That's Royce Simmons. Tackled by his opposite number, Walters.
Obviously, so far, Bill, neither side prepared to take any chances. It's been safety first. Here's Cartwright.
Cartwright getting up to the halfway mark. Has it out inside of him. He tries to get it back inside, but it's still in play. And Kahn came away with it, with the referee calling a halt to it.
Correct decision. It was knocked down by Brisbane and forward, but Cartwright showing he's a danger player. Tries to get the pass back on the inside. Well covered there by Kevin Walters. Also knocked forward by Willie Kahn.
So Alexander to feed. They're midway between the quarter and halfway in Broncos territory. In it goes Alexander, across to Izzard. Tries to step back inside. The defence coming across from Gene Miles. Wraps him up ball and all. Dummy half is Green. Green will turn it away then to Vandervoort. Bumps out of one tackle. Starts to go back the other way. They're about 30 metres out from the Broncos line. 0-0 the score here at the Sydney Football Stadium. Alexander getting it outside to Cartwright again. Doubling around. Wrapped up though. Dummy half waiting forward is Bentley. On to Mortimer. Mortimer cutting across fields. Eventually picked up by Miles again in cover. Simmons. They keep it going to the right. But eventually the defensive Walters coming across over the top.
Brisbane are thin on the right-hand side.
So that's where they're playing it. They've got quite a few out there. Alexander, but it's going to be knocked down. Ball rolling loose. Now the referee to play the knock-on.
On the fifth tackle, upcoming sixth, and therefore change over Brisbane. They're under a bit of pressure there. Alexander, there he goes again, running across the ruck. Fired the pass up, couldn't be handled by Fittler. but there was a half a chance, especially if they'd used the previous ruck. Brisbane having a few problems with defensive department, and the reason is they're not wrapping in their tackles. Penrith are bumping out of a few tackles because the arms aren't being used.
Now penalty coming up to the Broncos.
And a little bit of feeling as well. Mortimer was the one who was caught inside the 5 metres on Michael Hancock, who I believe must get more heavily involved. Penalties are one apiece. They've both been for inside the 5 metres.
So it'll be Peter Jackson, a kick for touch. He's about 11 metres inside Bronco territory at the moment. So, David, as you said, nothing terribly chancy going on. The only opportunity we've seen so far was that break of Cartwright.
Yes, and this is a good chance for Brisbane, though, Bill. The 6 tackles, they're in good attacking position. Rest assured, they'll try and get these yards early with a couple of big rucks and then put a play on.
Well, Dowling started off OK on that occasion. This is Gavin Allen taking it up again. That's a good run. They're about 20 metres out now from the Penrith line. Away from dummy half is Walters. Walters trying to find a way through, but he's put down 10 metres out. Alan Langer to dummy half. They've still got a few tackles up their sleeve. Langer sends that long one across over there to Walters, but Walters taken out nicely by Izzard. He's fighting to get up, and it's got to be the penalty.
This will be a chance for Brisbane to put 2 points on. Beautiful tackle initially by Izzard. There was really no need for him to carry on with interference. Came up nicely on Kevin Walters. He should then have allowed Walters to get quickly to play the ball, definitely holding on to the leg. Brad Izzard had done some good work, then undoes all the good work. It's a great chance for Dale Shearer.
So it's going to be Dale Shearer to kick for touch. He hasn't kicked since round number 18 when he kicked 3 from 8 against Balmain.
Remember on that day, Bill, even though he only kicked 3 from 8, I think quite a few of them went very close. So he does normally hit the ball pretty well. Interesting there to see Greg Dowling just issuing a few instructions to his young chargers, because they realise the experience of Gene Miles, but it's the youth of Hone, G and Allen. That's the work rate in the pack. The other two will certainly provide the firepower.
So it is Dale Shearer. Slowly moving back. Tony Durkin, no wind around down there again today.
As I said, Bill, a gorgeous day in Sydney, no wind.
So it's, you'll have to find a new word too, I don't think one suits. Here's Shearer. The kick is on its way, there's no doubt about it. Broncos open up the scoring here at the Sydney Football Stadium. They have a lead of 2 points to 0.
Back here at the Sydney Football Stadium, again, the similar tactics employed from the original kick-off to start this first half. The ball trapped by Willie Kahn. And Phil Gould has done his homework there, David.
My word, he has. I like the tactic, because Brisbane, who would normally, as I said earlier, utilise a couple of big men to take those first couple of rucks, have wasted them. But here's Peter Jackson, I think, moving off the mark.
No, he lashed out at the feet. Wally Lewis right in front of you down there. Not a clever play by Peter Jackson.
No, obviously, Jacko's just pretty keen to get involved with the game there, as we see him just push out with the feet. But obviously, Eddie Ward feels that that's a dangerous tactic and one that he doesn't want in this game.
Well, it gives a chance for Penrith to draw back on level terms. Greg Alexander, the scorer of 722 points for the Penrith club, a prolific point scorer. And so far this year, 128 points.
You mentioned about the kickoff. Most clubs like to have everything pretty well controlled. They normally have their best catcher in normal position to receive the kick, and then have a runner coming straight off. In Brisbane, both times have been caught a little bit disorganised. Perhaps even Jackson's action there in the tackle would have been the end result of that.
Chance now for Greg Alexander. So a mistake inside their own quarter could be costly for Brisbane. Undisciplined play by Jackson, but they get off the hook. It's wide of that right hand upright, and Brisbane still cling to the lead.
22-metre dropout now, so Brisbane will be looking for a lot of distance and a good chase.
Because the kick by Alexander went dead in goal, and now Michael Hancock with the dropout. A long kick downfield. The chasers there of Walters. And he wraps up Terrell Smith in the tackle. Play just inside Penrith's end of the ground. They move it wide on the first play. And the dummy's been thrown there by Bentley. Turned it back into McIndoe. He slipped under the tackle of Miles, who came at him again with Willie Kahn. Now, Bentley got it away to Simmons. Racing into dummy half is Alexander. Walker. Unloaded the pass. Picked up by Alexander. Moving it wide again with Izzard, but the defence of Jackson came up very quickly. Alexander again at dummy half. Moving it right for Vandervoort. Andrew G comes in for the wrap. This is the final tackle for the Panthers. Alexander, a dangerous player for Walters. He's touched it. It's picked up by Hancock. Now, what can he do with it? Very little. He's been thumped to the ground by Vandervoort, who came straight up the middle of the field and read that well. Now Shearer, still pinned inside his own quarter. Playing in the fullback role today for the first time since the Canberra match, back in round 15, but he loves the freedom, David.
He certainly does. This fella getting a little bit of latitude out of dummy half as well, Kerrod Walters. Brisbane playing safety first football at the moment. I've got no doubt Bennett does not want any errors in the early minutes.
No, well, an analysis of that match from Penrith Park showed on that day that the Penrith side only made 4 mistakes in their own half. 3 were drop balls and 1 was a missed tackle. And in cold hard facts, David, that's where they won the football match and lessons were learned.
That's right. If there's any lessons to be learned so far out of this match, it is that Brisbane are just allowing Penrith to slip a few of the tackles. Another penalty here going to the Panthers. And once again, Eddie Ward finding it necessary to caution one of the Broncos. It's Andrew G this time. Tackle there on Brad Fittler. G comes over the top with a forearm and totally unnecessary. And Penrith now will look for a bit of extra distance and go back on the attack.
Well, it'll allow them to bring it back towards halfway. In fact, they'll take it 10 metres into the attacking half. We've had 15 minutes of play gone in the first half. The Broncos lead by 2. And hitting the defensive line was Clark. Now Alexander. Quick ball for the prop forward in Walker.
They used a high ball a couple of moments ago when they got in a similar position and wasn't handled too well by Brisbane. See how they handle it this time.
Oh, there's a good play on here. Mortimer got the long pass away for Fittler. Fittler's made the bust and found Smith. But, gee, it was well read by Hancock in defence.
Fittler passed too early. I think he'd beaten Jackson.
Now they hit it back to the left. Alexander looking for a runner in Cartwright. But the defence is up, but they've slipped the tackle and unloaded. And Alexander whips across to the left-hand side, but Khan came back to field the kick and now is in open space. He's up over the quarter, but his progress is halted by Walker.
It was a good tackle by Walker. He was in trouble, and for a front rower to handle a winger in that situation, well done.
Now, Kevin Walters is having plenty to say to referee Eddie Ward.
Little knock on here by Brisbane. Miles brings it up the middle of the ruck. Couple of swinging arms, that one by Green. Miles losing the ball, loose head and feet to the Panthers.
And they move it wide through Alexander. He got it to Izzard, and Kevin Walters with a job out there today, marking the experienced Brad Izzard. He missed the match at Penrith Park along with Chris Mortimer. Izzard, of course, just trails Royce Simmons and Tim Sheens, the now Canberra coach, for the most number of matches in first grade for the Penrith side. Today, Brad plays his 163rd game in the top grade. That's Fittler, one of the up-and-comers, but a great young player. Izzard, the experienced toll there, and he takes play to 11 metres short of the try line. The Panthers on the attack. They move it to the right. It's Alexander. The defence is tested, but Dowling got there. This is the final tackle. They're calling for play to the left, but they go through themselves. Alexander scored the first try. And what a start for the Panthers.
Incredibly, Eddie Ward has got in the raid of Kerrod Walters as he tried to race back to recovery. You can't blame Ward here, but certainly it did play a part. Quick play the ball right on the try line. Here's the pre-setting ruck. Alexander goes very close. He kicks the ball forward, Alexander, as he gets fairly close to the try line. Penrith had Brisbane in trouble. Brisbane has surrendered some penalties to allow territorial advantage. Alexander quickly up. Can't play the ball if you've got a mark as long as you're standing square on. There's Kerrod Walters, blocked by Eddie Ward. Let's have a look at it from the head on with Wally Lewis.
Yeah, some smart play there from Alexander, David, but I just wonder where he took an extra step as he played the ball forward. When you get tackled, you're compelled to play the ball where the spot, on the spot where the ball lands. Alexander seemed to me on that occasion to take one step forward, but in semi-finals football, I guess you take anything you can get away with.
Well, Alexander, his 10th try of the season, and it's a telling blow to the Broncos. They trail by 4-2, and a chance to convert his own try, Greg Alexander. so far this year against Brisbane. He kicked 3 from 6 at Lang Park, 3 from 5 at Penrith Park. He's missed with his only attempt here today so far. But this is not a hard kick. And Alexander makes it look easy. And Penrith lead this semi-final by 6 points to 2.
All came from a mistake by Brisbane, the knock-on by Gene Miles, the scrum. Penrith brought the ball toward the Broncos try line. Brisbane have been caught out wide a few times. Penrith is showing that even though they've got a very strong forward pack, they're prepared to throw the ball around.
David, it's no coincidence that Greg Alexander seems to save his best for Brisbane.
Yes, and I think the coincidence is largely related to the fact that Brisbane tend to lose their straight line of defence against a fellow like Alexander. You can't afford to do it.
8 missed tackles. And the Broncos trail by 6 to 2.
Also allowing the Penrith players to get that ball away, David. They've got them securely held, but they still unload it. And of course, they can keep it going from there.
That's exactly it, Bill. The missed tackles are coming about by Brisbane, not wrapping up. They're not coming over the top strongly enough and making sure that the ball carrier is taken to ground.
Wally, you're right down there on the touchline. Is there plenty of talk going on in both camps at the moment?
Well, there's not a lot of talk going on in the Penrith camp, David, but that doesn't seem to be really affecting them at all. I think they know what they've got to do for the game. They've just worked out their efforts in how to attack the Broncos, and I've got to agree, they really do seem to be attacking us and having a trailer, usually Alexander or one of the smaller other players, backing up the bigger players, getting ready for that unload. But Brisbane are talking at the moment, but it's no matter how much you talk, it's the content of what you're talking about that matters.
So here we have Penrith with the lead of 6 points to 2 as the Broncos are in possession. Back it goes to Gavin Allen. He decides to set sail up the centre.
Well, another tactic too against a good attacking side like Brisbane is to try and keep them deep inside their own territory to prevent the utilisation of the flare, and Penrith have been fairly successful at that to date.
So it'll be Greg Dowling to play it. Kieran Walters trying to find a way up the centre. A quick play the ball though. Back it goes to Chris Johns. Johns accelerates up over the halfway mark. Here's the final tackle as Walters waits for it. Swings it away to Langer. Langer trying to dodge and weave his way through. Still going. Sends a pass that rolls on the across field. Jackson picks it up, then lets it go. Went straight out of his hands. And eventually it's going to be Smith pulled down right on the quarter line. Could have been curtains.
Brisbane taking a risk playing the ball on the 6th tackle.
So from the play the ball now, this time it's Vandervoort. Vandervoort dummies, he's still going.
Well done by G to make sure he covered the outside man. Vandervoort was always going to be covered on the inside.
So back they come across field, but they're putting on plenty of pressure again. On it goes to Izzard. Izzard now with a pass. Well wide of McIndoe, and it sailed in the touch.
What a tackle from Gavin Allen.
He's been crunched, Brad Izzard. Great cover defence, Brisbane. McIndoe couldn't get to the ball. Penrith once again moving the ball out wide. Have a look at this. Izzard crunched there by Gavin Allen. No wonder the ball went forward.
So waiting for the scrum to be fed by Alan Langer. 10 metres out now from the Broncos line. 18 and a half minutes remaining in the first half. Willie Kahn comes across on the wing.
Billy, I just don't know what Peter Jackson was doing with that drop ball over. He showed no keenness at all to pick it up.
Well, he almost gave it to him, didn't he? So now it's Walters' dummy half. Swings it away on the blind side. Gene Miles.
It's better. Brisbane just need to get back to a bit more rucking like they did in the early minutes of the match when it was quite effective. Kerrett is probably overdoing. He's overdoing the dummy half dash. Lose it forward. Another chance for the Panthers. They lead 6-2.
There he is. Yeah, he's lost it all right. Willie Kahn dived on it, but it was all a bit too late. So now the scrum to pack down, 30 metres out from the Broncos line. Alexander. Across to Izzard. Got away from Walters. Izzard setting sail up the quarter line. Shearer comes in and puts him down.
He's taken Walters on every single time from the base of the scrum.
So back they reverse it across field this time. But the defence coming up. And that'll be Green to play it now. Dummy half Simmons. They're putting on plenty of pressure again. That's Walker. Simmons waiting for it. Which way will he go? Goes the left-hand side. They swing it on to Cartwright. Cartwright turns, going to get the pass away. It folds across field, picked up by Vandervoort.
6
Touched by the opposition. There's another 6, all right. 10 metres out now from the Broncos line, and there's more pressure from the Panthers. Alexander works away, sends it back inside. But the defence equal to the task on this occasion. Dummy half Alexander again. Back it goes this time to Clark. Another loose one across field, picked up by Smith. And eventually Hancock got him and drove him back a couple of metres. But they still have the chance to put on the pressure. Cross over there to Izzard. Izzard straight ahead. He's been a danger man so far as Brad Izzard. So it's Alexander. Cartwright shows the ball. Knocked down.
Knocked on by Brisbane. They're under pressure again. And Dale Shearer here has obviously said something to Eddie Ward. Let's have a look at it. Cartwright tries to pass the ball. Definitely knocked on by Kevin Wald. There's no doubt about it. Dale Shearer could do well to keep his mouth shut.
So the scrum to back down. At this stage, about 18 metres out from the Broncos.
There's Shearer. Alexander calling something on the blind side. I think he's just trying to get Shearer out of the open.
Well, look how wide Izzard is.
So there they go. Across to Izzard. Breaks out the tackle. He's going for the line. He'll score. Bradley ran it in. And Penrith go to a lead of 10 points to 2.
Kevin Walters slams the ground, but no doubt about it, I would say Phil Gill has decided this man can take on Kevin Walters. Look at the size of him. Once again, tactics. They took the fullback to the blind side. Shearer nowhere to be seen. Therefore, one break and you're home. Gene Miles can't get there in time. Izzard the power. He's in under the right next to the sticks. Here's Wally.
Yeah, smart work from the Penrith pack here, obviously enticing Dale Shearer to stand on the blind side. He's been very, very hard to stop so far, Fittler, and I don't think he's going to get any easier for us to handle. If I was Brisbane, I think what I'll be trying to do at the moment is just as we see how Izzard steps off his right foot, a very strong bloke. He's around about 15.5 stone. I think Brisbane have got to play a shorter back line there, David. They've got to stand Peter Jackson in much, much closer, and if anything, try and entice Penrith to throw the ball wide. But when you've got a big bloke like that, you've got to make sure that he's got no room to move whatsoever.
Well, I would say that Phil Gill's done his homework because Izzard last week played centre 3/4 against Western Suburbs, and for only the 6th time this year he's brought him back as 5/8, and he's done a big job on Walton so far.
Here's Alexander's kick, and it is successful. So they have a good lead here, Penrith. It is 12 points to 2. So it's going to be Dale Shearer to restart play. A 10-point break now for the Penrith Panthers. And at this stage, with 14.5 minutes of the first half remaining, they'd be feeling quite happy with themselves, David.
They sure would. They've had just the perfect start. There's possession. It has favoured Penrith by 61-48. And if you're up against an attacking side like Brisbane, you've got to keep the ball away from them.
So taking it up this time is Clark. Dummy half Simmons. Decides to let it go to Mortimer. Mortimer works at crossfield. He gets his pass away nicely. But the defence coming around over there eventually put Bentley down. So back on this time to Walker. Walker right on the halfway mark. It is the final tackle. So they swing it back. And eventually the kick coming downfield by Alexander. Dale Shearer back there. Starts to run and works it up to just short of the quarter line. So away from dummy half this time, Michael Hancock taking the pass outside, but he works his way to the quarter line. So now to Dowling. Dowling 30 metres out from the Broncos line. Chris Johns taking it up. Dummy half Walters to Gavin Allen. Allen to a couple of metres short of halfway. It is the final tackle. So Walters back over there to Shearer. Shearer kicking for touch. Back there is Green. Eventually he will get it. Given the defence plenty of time to get up there.
Important stage of the game now for Brisbane. For quite some time, Penrith have dominated territory. There's a chance for Brisbane to keep them tight near their own try line and force the kick.
So back to Mortimer again. He's had some good, strong runs. This is Simmons. Simmons to 30 metres out from his own line. So away from dummy half. It's Alexander again, working his way up to the halfway mark. Lost the ball on that halfway. Broncos have got possession, and by golly, they needed it.
They sure did. Alexander dangerous. The dummy half players working well for Penrith. The Brisbane markers not alert.
So Willie Kahn.
There's Alexander. He's been extremely dangerous. As expected, Brisbane must go up a tempo when he looks like getting involved.
Dowling. Colin van der Voort is injured in the back play there. Gene Miles. Walters to Langer. Then across to Walters. On it goes to Jackson. They're in a forward mode this time, but Johns is well wrapped up over there. So the final tackle. Back over then to Shearer. Shearer puts it up high, very high kick. Going back there is Green. Green takes it just short of the line. Starts to run it out across field. Now he straightens.
Dale Shearer's involved in that tackle, and late. Really, it was a kick for nothing by Shearer in the first instant. He was late on the scene after the tackle had been effected. There it is, tackle effected. Shearer in late with a swinging arm. Foolish by Shearer. A penalty here to Penrith.
Yeah, another penalty to Penrith, and that'll allow them to relieve the pressure somewhat. There is a change on the Penrith side. Tony Durkin.
Colin van der Voort, the stretcher's been called for van der Voort. Billy's damaged. What is a heavily strapped left knee. He's coming off. What a player they're bringing on to replace him, though. Big Mark Geyer.
Mark Geyer coming out in jersey number 40. There will be a halt for play while they come out. Well, they're looking there. The stretcher's coming out now.
I think this is the injury, Bill, that forced Colin van der Voort to miss the early part of the season.
He's a giant of a man, the replacement in Mark Geyer. He loves nothing more than this situation. His team in front 12-2. Brisbane must take on Geyer in the early minutes now. If they allow Geyer, who's a confidence player, to get a roll on, they'll be the ones rolling back.
Well, Geyer was sent off last week against Western Suburbs after 29 minutes, but was cleared of the fighting charge on Tuesday night. He's a very, very handy player to come on at this stage of the game, Bill, with Penrith up by 12 points to 2.
My word, he is. Once you've been battling away, if you're in the opposition, and then all of a sudden you're confronted with a player of his calibre, coming on fresh and ready to roll, you know you've got your work cut out. There's the incident coming up now. Straight down he went over there. So now it's Penrith in possession. Geyer taking it up to about 8 metres inside Broncos territory. Now this is Geyer this time, but a penalty. Broncos up offside.
And there's the urgency that was created by Geyer's presence. I would think Brisbane wanting to get up very quickly on Geyer. Gene Miles coming across to hear what Eddie Ward has to say. Another chance for Penrith to put further points on.
So it'll be Alexander to have the shot at goal. And Penrith have a good lead of 12-2. If he can slot this one over, it'll be a nice, handy lead to take into the half-time break.
Well, that man there has got some problems, and Wally, just what can Brisbane do now? They seem to have been a little bit nervous after Penrith have got a bit of a lead. It's put the pressure right on Brisbane.
What they've got to do at the moment, David, is just regroup. There could be a little bit of panic out there. I don't think so. The players in themselves are experienced enough to know how to handle certain situations. And it's not the first time that Brisbane have found themselves 10 or 12 points behind in a football game. The problem at the moment seems to be that we're just making mistakes. The 2 tries that Penrith have scored have both come within 6 tackles of us dropping the football in our own half of the field.
Alexander's kick is there. It's there, another 2 points on the board, and Penrith lead by 14-2.
So play back to the halfway line. And the Broncos with the job ahead of them now. They've got just 50 minutes to try and pull this game out of the fire as we go into the final 10 before halftime. Dale Shearer places the ball on the halfway line.
Places it almost horizontal, looking for an awkward bounce off the kickoff.
Keeping it low. It was nearly touched by Cartwright. Smith brings it out. And Gavin Allen and Andrew G lead the defensive charge. So the Panthers inside their own quarter, but they work their way out immediately. They're a side that pride themselves on trying to play mistake-free football, Penrith, particularly in their own half of the field.
Forward pass. Well, they do, Fordo. They like to just keep it nice and tidy, play them down the other end. And if I recall when Brisbane played Penrith the last time, it's been touched. Penrith roll back onside.
And danger. Now, the Brisbane defence stretched again. Geyer will probably move out of dummy half on his own and takes 5 or 6 metres off Brisbane. But then driven back by Walters. Quick play, the ball required. Green got it away. Cartwright running wide. tried to turn it back in field, but Dowling was there. Simmons calling the shot from dummy half on this occasion. Well, nothing seems to be going right. That ball touched in flight, that put immediate pressure as Fittler gets it. Unloaded the pass for McIndoe. Yes, what a great try. Penrith lead by 18 points to 2. And Alan McIndoe, who was under an injury cloud, comes up with his 14th try of the season.
Brilliant pass from Brad Fittler. McIndoe just stayed out on the touchline. Willie Kahn had been drawn in. There's Chris Johns late on the scene. But McIndoe, one of the best finishers in the business, comes off a nice Fittler pass. Alexander, a long one there. And Fittler comes to the defensive line, fires that long ball out. McIndoe with plenty of room to move. Johns can't get out to him. Willie Kahn nowhere to be seen. Penrith in for another try. Here's Wally Lewis.
Yes, it was very, very smart play from Penrith there. Brisbane stretched to the limit. A winger out of place in Willie Kahn, but when there's 3-on-2, Dave, there's not too much you can do in a situation like that. Of course, as you mentioned, things not really going with us at the moment. A ball touched in flight, and from there on, it was just panic stations. We were hoping more than anything else that we could get through the 6 tackles.
The fans applaud Alan McIndoe, a very strong Penrith contingent here at the football stadium. And Alexander from 8 metres in from the commentary touchline of the Sydney Football Stadium hooks it away to the left. So it's still 18 points to 2. 3 tries to 0 the Panthers have scored in the first 35 minutes of this first half. Tony Durkin on the sideline.
A report on Colin Vandervoort, David. Colin Vandervoort has snapped his cruciate ligament in his left knee, so any aspirations Colin Vandervoort had for Kangaroo Tour have gone out the door. And what bad luck he's had in semi-final football, because last year, if you remember correctly, in the game against Canberra, he did his ankle.
Yes, he was taken off in that match. But now the Panthers inside their own quarter, and we'll just watch this passage of play, just how methodically they work it out of the danger area. It rarely goes through more than one pair of hands, David.
They do it pretty tightly in this area, and they'll look for the kick downfield. Brisbane now are up against a mental block at 18-2. Very, very difficult to come back from that. They desperately want points, further points in this first half. But with the realisation that they've got a second chance, they can come back next week. That's the mental problem that Brisbane have had. When you've got a second chance, you always have that in the back of your mind. But Brisbane must take this first chance if at all possible.
Now Shearer through the dummy. A great break by Dale Shearer. We mentioned how he loves to run an open play. Yeah, I think he's pulled up lame.
Gee, that didn't look good.
Wally, that was right in front of you. Did he pull up lame?
Yes, he certainly has pulled up lame. I'm not sure what he's done, David. It looks like his knee, but he pulled up on a sixpence. There was no chance of him even looking like making a break after he tried to step on his right knee.
It's always a bad sign too. Anytime you have an injury with no player anywhere near you, it's not a good sign.
Well, he's struggling to try and run it out as Langer moves it across to Walters, turning it back in. Good play by Brisbane. It goes to Langer, kept alive by Dowling, and that's where it broke down. It's the final tackle. They'll move it across to Langer. The little kick in behind the play. It's into the in goal and forced.
Forced by David Green, and one of the few chances for Brisbane with 4 minutes to go up to half-time. Penrith will be in no hurry at all to drop kick this one out. They'll waste a bit of time. Green across nicely, grounds it in the in-goal area.
Well, what's the latest down there with Dale Shearer?
Apparently, David, Dale Shearer has hurt his back or his hip area, the trainer Kenny Raj just told me. So it's not that troublesome ankle that's worried him for so long. Looking back at him now, Dale Shearer's doing some exercise on that back, so let's hope they can get some work on him at half-time.
Well, he missed the Penrith match in the second round with a knee injury. Now he's in big trouble.
He can hardly run.
He is in big trouble.
He's staying out there now.
And I don't think the crowd realise that he's actually injured. I think they thought he's just died with the football. Because they're giving him a bit of a touch-up out there, but he is in big trouble, Dale Shearer. Kenny Ra coming out again to have a look at him. But I'd say Paul Hoff would be warming up very, very shortly.
The only problem they've got with that one, Fordo, is that Hoff
is out too.
He's injured. He didn't come down with the side. And also whether Brisbane will want to just hold out for another 3 minutes up to half-time. Lost it.
Yeah, they were about to mount that pressure. So this will be an interesting reshuffle.
not the best player to have injured as your fullback.
Particularly a player of his class. Stephen Roof is warming up, and I doubt very much if he'll fill the fullback role. I'm just trying to fathom out what might happen. I'd say probably Michael Hancock may go back to fullback.
Rest assured, Penrith will be well aware that Shearer is injured. There's Steve Renouf. But with Shearer injured, chance for a little kick, and good support from Kevin Walters here to drop back to help him.
There's the kick downfield. Shearer. Probably that will be the last time he touches the football in the semi-final. Willie Kahn, yes, he's finally succumbed to the injury, and Steve Renouf comes onto the field. A penalty goes for the Brisbane Broncos.
There's Dale Shearer leaving the field, obviously severely hampered by an injury incurred when no one was really anywhere near him. Steve Renouf has come on. He'll play on the left wing. Michael Hancock to fullback. Brisbane with about a minute and a half up to half-time, desperate for points.
Dowling takes it beyond the halfway line. Kerrod Walters away for Andrew G. Michael Hancock back in that fullback role. Walters, a bad pass. Renouf gets his first touch, but it was under pressure.
Brisbane trying to do just too much with the defensive line moving up very quickly.
Johns. Well, they led by 2-0 at one stage, the Broncos. They're now trailed by 18-2. Allen unloaded it for Walters. He was under pressure. Now Dowling away for Hancock. Hancock pulled out of the tackle. Unloaded it to Kerrod Walters. Got it away to Willie Kahn. He's kicked and chased. It's been touched by Penrith. And Green wrapped it up on his own quarter.
And Brisbane trying a bit of razzle-dazzle football, and really that's the only thing that's going to get them out of trouble here now at 18-2 down. Brisbane needs some magic, but the seconds ticking away in the first half. 20 seconds to go.
So the Panthers will just use the clock for the final 10 seconds of this first half. A half they have dominated. On the football field and on the scoreboard. 3 tries, 3 goals for their 18 points. Dale Shearer's penalty goal, the only points by Brisbane.
Tackle there by Dowling has decked Mark Dyer.
The hoot is gone, the kick and chase is on. It's rolling in the end goal. The ball will go dead in goal. The players earn a very well-earned break, but Penrith are the ones that have done it well. Mark Geyer is an injured player.
Dowling there, huge tackle, wasn't high, wasn't hit high. Geyer flattened, has not moved.
Well, he has 10 minutes to recover. We'll take a break and be back at the football stadium with Penrith with a 16-point lead.
So there's referee Eddie Ward checking with both teams, blowing the whistle. We're underway for the second half of this major preliminary semi-final. And, of course, the loser faces a prospect of going in against Manly next week.
Yes, and wouldn't be a nice prospect at all. Brisbane looking right down the gun barrel at that now, though. They need a very good start to the early minutes of the second half. They need to trap Penrith inside their own territory. They need possession and plenty of it.
So now it's Penrith just over the quarter line. Getting up to play it is Mortimer. Simmons from dummy half. They keep it going over there with Clark. He'll be put down 20 metres short of the halfway mark. This is Cartwright. One good early bust in the match. It's put a lot of pressure on the Broncos. They've had plenty of pressure out there today, all right. And eventually that's Walker up there, just inside the Broncos half of the field.
Good rucking that by Penrith. They brought the ball 50 metres upfield.
Alexander sending it across to Green.
Got touched again.
Oh, and it goes straight into the hands up there of Walker. Walker's cutting his way through. He sends a pass outside, and Izzard is over for the try. Well, that's wrapped it up.
Well, if it's not your day, it's not your day. Brisbane cannot do a thing right after putting very good pressure to force the kick downfield by Green. It was a poor one. Dowling snatched at it, and in doing that, it just fell straight there. Now, this is good pressure from Brisbane. Forced the double play. Green just got the kick in with the left foot. Dowling touches it there, snatched straight out of the hands, picked up nicely by Walker. He goes almost to the try line. Izzard just motoring. He just was waiting to get the ball if required, and he goes in for his second try. Brisbane, it's not their day.
That's for sure, David. It really is casket ticket stuff for Penrith at the moment. Greg Dowling there just tipping it on, but there was some great pressure there from Penrith to get us right down to force Brisbane as far down the field as they did in just a couple of rucks. But they really did have a good chasing team. That's what's helped them score that try. They had 5 or 6 players down there, and any one of those players could have scored.
Barry Walker just fending off the tackle and finally getting the one-handed pass away to Izzard, who just strolled over. Renouf appeared late on the scene, but there's never any chance of being able to stop him. Here's a kick coming up from Alexander. It's no doubt about that one. So Penrith have a big lead now. It's 24 points to 2. Well, that was certainly the start to the second half that the Broncos did not want.
They wanted that in reverse, Bill. As Wally Lewis said, Penrith, whilst they took their chance, they took the luck, they were there to take it. They'd rucked the ball up strongly to get in that position to put the kick downfield. And also there to receive what was just a tap on by Dowling.
So now it's Penrith in possession, about 20 metres out from their own line. This will be a penalty, Penrith.
Brisbane not marking up square on. They're really rattled at the moment. Peter Jackson jogging back into position. But it's important here for Brisbane to finish this second half strongly. At the moment, their morale would be at an all-time low. The fact that they may well lose this game and at 24 points to 2, they need a miracle to get out of it. But they've got to line up again next week, irrespective, and against a side like Manly, they want to have a fair amount of confidence, and Brisbane's confidence would be right at rock bottom at the moment.
So that's Cartwright working across to Alexander outside, then this time to Izzard. He's on the go again. He's got away from that tackle and eventually going to be picked out by Chris Johns. He's been a danger man all day as Izzard. He's been breaking tackles with consistency all time. That's Cartwright again.
He appears to have hurt his back though, Bill, in that last run.
Well, I suppose there'll be a few people would have suggested that might have been a lot more timely if that happened after 5 minutes of play, because he certainly cut them up. They lose at Penrith, but eventually retain it. Final tackle. So back to Alexander, has a drop shot at goal. It's well wide. Taken back in the in-goal area.
Even though it was a drop shot for goal, it is still a kick in general play. Eddie Ward restarts with a 22-metre tap.
So it's Kieran Walters coming onto the mark now. Back to Mark Hone. Hone eventually knocked over 30 metres out from the Broncos line to Gavin Allen. Walters again, works it away to Dowling. Penrith's lead is 24 points to 2. Gene Miles. Back it comes to Johns. Johns working up to 10 metres inside Penrith territory. End of the tackle count coming up, so back it goes to Alan Langer this time. Langer will drive it downfield. Going back there is Green. He takes it on the full.
Well, it was just about gift wrap, Bill, wasn't it? Just a nice little lob kick by Langer. Really, Brisbane are not trying to put the same sort of pressure on Penrith as the Panthers have been able to exert.
So it's Alexander up there as dummy half, sweeps the pass away. And as we were having a chat here at half-time, he seems to save the good stuff for when they play the Brisbane Broncos. He's continually performed well against this side. Not that he doesn't do it on any other occasion. He's a very talented player. Coming up as dummy half is Walker. Walker will swing it back. A crossover there to Green. He got away from 2 tackles. Now he gets his pass back. But eventually plenty of time for Alexander to
touched again.
It is touched again, and Bentley will take it.
They've been touched. They've been blessed.
And it's Renouf coming away with it this time, with the referee to play the knock-on.
And Mortimer hands back the headgear. Incredible. That's 3 touches. Penrith have kicked the ball downfield. And in doing that, Brisbane have touched, putting all players who were initially in front of the kicker back onside. So
in by Alexander. He'll get it away to Izzard. Izzard trying to find a way up the centre. He's almost away again, but eventually Miles coming in.
John's at 5'8" there, Bill. They've got Kevin Walters moved out from the base of the scrum. They don't want Izzard having a red carpet ride.
That's Fittler taking it up this time. Dummy half is Simmons. And across it comes this time to Clark. From the play of the ball now, it's Penrith taking it up. Alexander with a pass outside. This one's loose. Rolls on the ground, dived on by Smith.
Thought it was touched by Brisbane, but Eddie Ward there shielding his eyes from the sun. I think missed it.
Penrith were calling for the touch. So Simmons on the final tackle to Cartwright. He's going to have a little kick through. Hancock's going back, takes it. Runs up straight ahead, bumped away from Bentley. Started to go again. He's over the quarter line. Nice run there. Eventually Simmons coming in with a tackle. Look at those missed tackles there. 18-3. That starts happening. It's got to be points on the board, and that is the situation with Penrith having a lead at 24-2. 24,409 here today for this match. Not as many as yesterday, but I suppose that's to be expected. So Jackson, a couple of metres short of the halfway mark. Dummy half Walters. Dowling. He gets it back inside. Gene Miles with a burst now, looking for support. Lost over there by Walters, rolling on the ground, picked up by Jackson. And Jackson will get up to play it right on the quarter line. Final tackle coming up.
Must run it.
So Walters gets it to Langer. He goes back the other way. Losing the ball is Johns, picked up by Dowling. He in turn gets it away to Walters. Walters outside to Miles. A kick through. It's back into the end goal area, but will go over the dead ball line.
And Brisbane, Gene Miles was caught in desperation there. Last man on the end of the line. Little chip over the top, hoping it would sit in the end goal area, but no. And therefore restart by Penrith on the 22-metre line with a tap.
So Penrith getting plenty of possession already in the second half. And as you say, David, when you've got an attacking team like the Broncos, if you keep the ball away from them, you make it very difficult for them. So it's Simmons up as dummy half. Getting it across over there to Clark. It's been a tradesman-like performance from Penrith today, and a lot of that credit, of course, must go to their coach, Phil Gould. He's worked his tactics extremely well here.
He's had a perfect record against Wayne Bennett, Bill. A couple of victory, 25-10 with Canterbury in '88, and 22-8 in '89 they beat them with the Canterbury. And this year, 26-18 and 18 points to 2, 93 points to Brisbane's 38. So he really has a terrific record against the Wayne Bennett coach sides.
Penrith unable on that occasion to keep the pass going again, but there's a kick downfield. Kicking on the fourth tackle on this occasion. Hancock can't get away from Izzard, launches himself at him.
Born-again player, Brad Izzard. He was really on the scrap heap possibly at the start of this season, but credit to Phil Gould for his ability to get Izzard's mind on the job. He's had an outstanding game today.
Kevin Walters getting up towards the quarter line. Dummy half Kerrod trying to step his way through. Now gets a pass back, touched by the opposition. Chris Johns with it. Johns straight ahead, but the defence will pick him up. Now a penalty coming up as he got up to try and play it. He got bowled over by Mortimer.
Important Brisbane now start getting a bit of a roll on. There's the penalties. They favour the Panthers by 6-4.
24 points to 2. Penrith in the lead here at the stadium. And Gavin Allen takes it upfield. Takes it beyond the halfway line. 4 tries to 0, the Panthers. And they've done it in good style. And a few people mentioned when the final 5 was decided that the Panthers were the sleeping giant. Well, they've certainly lowered Brisbane's colour so far in this match. Walters has had an unhappy match so far. Kerrod Walters. Pass away for G. It was picked up by Allen. Then in turn for Peter Jackson. Brushed away some feeble defence. Fullback to beat, and he did it with ease, but he was finally just tripped in the last minute, and he pulled down a metre short of the try line.
Langer was unmarked on the inside, and Jackson will not play the ball. He was dummying the action in the play the ball. Peter Jackson, who got penalised also in possession in the first half, showing the frustration on his face. Alan Langer unmarked. Bentley was coming across and covered a fence. There's Jackson. Now he's complaining to the referee, should have played the ball as quickly as possible. Hands were in there, preventing Jackson to play it. Then he picked the ball up in the ruck after it was knocked down. Well, he might be upset with that. No doubt Penrith interfered in the play the ball. And Jackson having every right to feel that he was hard done by.
So Penrith move it outside their own quarter. The tap restart. They lead by 24 points to 2. 12 minutes gone in the second half. Cartwright driven back. That's good defence by Mark Hone. Moved up very quickly. Mortimer got it away to Fittler. And it was Langer that wrapped him up ball and all, with Miles going low. Walker. Miles again coming at him with the ball and all tackle. So it'll be Bentley. Runs out of dummy half, came to Hone. Simmons. Alexander. Angling it towards touch. That is a superb kick from Greg Alexander. Gee, he's had a big influence on this game.
Yes, he calls the shots nicely. We saw Cliff Lyons put in a great performance yesterday in the halves, and now Greg Alexander at half back doing a similar duty for the Penrith Panthers. 24-2, Brisbane trail.
Renouf comes in from the left wing. He's on the field for the injured Dale Shearer, with Michael Hancock dropping back to cover the fullback role. Walters looking to unload, got it away to Mark Hone. He stood with one arm free, and Walker came in and banged him to the ground. Walters, the Penrith defence up very, very quickly. Dowling, Miles, Johns. Well, the Penrith's confidence, David, must be sky high against Brisbane, because they did a very, very good job on them out at Penrith Park. But again, Brisbane played poorly on that day as well.
Well, they did, and Brisbane didn't go forward that day, and much the same sort of thing has happened here today. There's the fifth tackle, but I do think Brisbane should be looking to spread their attack more. They don't seem to have spread from one side of the field to the other, and even when they have moved the ball, they haven't stretched Penrith in doing it.
David Green did well. Tackled on the centre of the quarter line by Walters. G working very hard in defence. Smith played the football. That's Clark. Running quite dangerously with that left elbow cocked. Play midway between the half and the quarter. It's at Penrith's end of the ground. Alexander, a long pass again, but it's been dropped. Great pass.
One of the few errors, Brad Fittler there was the offender. The pass from Alexander had done the job. Jackson had been drawn in, the overlap had been created. McIndoe was looking to support Fittler. The pass went on the deck. Not very often Penrith have made mistakes today, but can Brisbane capitalise?
Now Langer, the base of the scrum. Khan came in, but was cut out. A set move that's involved Hancock from the fullback role. But they moved up very, very effectively and wrapped him up. Now Jackson, a change and an important one, Tony.
Brisbane Broncos captain Gene Miles will be leaving the field. Of course, Miles has had that instep injury after the knee injury, and his replacement in jersey 28 will be Terry Madison, a fresh reserve.
Now Walters, searching out wide with Dowling. Now Miles. 25 out Brisbane, trailing by 24-2. Now Hone straightens it up. Final tackle. Langer. The little chip and chase, but it was just read perfectly by Penrith. They've lost the football though, and Brisbane will get the loose head and feed.
2 errors in a row by Penrith, and now a chance for Brisbane to apply the first concerted pressure of the match. There's the replacement, Terry Madison. He came on as a sub against Parramatta and worked miracles. Let's see if he can do a similar thing today. Gene Miles leaving the field.
Walters, now for Johns. He came back well, straightened it up, and took play inside the quarter. 23 minutes of play remain here at the stadium. Madison immediately puts his stamp on the game. Takes play to within about 5 metres short of the try line. Walters moves it right through Gavin Allen. Got the hands free for Langer. Langer in for the try. Put it down to Gavin Allen's ball handling skills, and Langer comes up with the Broncos' first try.
Beautiful work from Gavin Allen. Finally, Brisbane have had some consistent possession that allows them to build up a bit of pressure. They haven't been close to the try line very often. This guy can do something with the football. Beautiful work. Alan Langer had to juggle and then finally hung onto it, broke away from Alexander and slams it down next to the post.
Yes, Penrith's man-for-man defence was just changed for once there, David. Usually we've seen them in defence close to their own line, just nominating one man each, but on this occasion, Gavin Allen's attacking skills brought the outside defender in, which left a very large gap for Alan Langer to get through, just able to control the ball. But support play, that's what's done it for Brisbane, and also a mistake by Penrith, one of the few ones they've made all day. We saw Penrith make the most of the opportunities Brisbane presented to them in the first half.
So that kick by Madison sees it 24 points to 8 here at the Sydney Football Stadium. 22 minutes of play remain as we welcome you back to the Sydney Football Stadium. And Brisbane, in their first taste of semi-final football, are behind on the scoreboard by 24 points to 8. And in contrast, it appears that Penrith, David, are heading for their first ever victory in a semi-final of the Winfield Cup.
Yes, and they played extremely well today. Brisbane just starting to get a bit of a roll on now. Their attack was starting to move reasonably well leading up to that. Possession so important even from that kickoff. They seem to handle the unusual play of Penrith far better when Gilbert's got them kicking into the left-hand corner after facing the ball right.
That pass was forward. In fact, Walters was offside.
Peter Jackson was the passer. Kevin Walters has been penalised for being in front of the last man to touch the ball. There's Jackson, fires it up, no doubt about it. Ward on the spot. Andy Ward's had another good game. Penrith using plenty of time up. Alexander going to call the shots. No better place to get a penalty, around about 45 metres out from the try line. Shoot for touch. You're in good position to build up the attack.
Well, the performance of Eddie Ward today just pushes him one step further to a history-making appearance. I would say the first Queenslander ever to referee a Sydney Rugby League Grand Final.
Yes, it's been a great effort by Ward. Now let's see what Penrith do here. They use their fullback as the first playmaker there, so they don't want to use up any of their forwards in this next passage of play.
Now they spread it wide. It's a big man running wide. Fittler's the receiver. He unloaded the football to Bentley. Now they attack towards the left. And Andrew G finally runs him down. They'll move it left-hand side. Alexander just holding the football up. Dowling was the man that got him in the tackle. Simmons attacks again down the blind. Mark Geyer lost the football. And Brisbane come back with it inside their own quarter.
Yes, it was Greg Dowling, the man who ended up with it on that occasion. So Broncos in possession just down in their own quarter line. Back inside there to G. G's going to be wrapped up though.
Importance there, build a market defence. Alexander's made 2 on the trot. He's now after his 3rd and will just be forced to miss that tackle. But that's the urgency necessary at this stage in the game. You don't give any side easy territory.
That's Madison taking it up now. It is the final tackle. Walters to dummy half. 24 points to 8. Penrith leading. That's Alan Langer kicking downfield. Across the field a little bit more this time where Green had to run. Oh, there's a collision back there, but Green came away with it.
If Brisbane had done that, I think they would have dropped the ball and given it to the opposition.
Probably would have been both knocked out. Nothing had happened. So, here's Spittler on the way up the centre. The bump didn't hurt him. So from the play of the ball, Penrith in possession. 10 metres short of the halfway mark. Mortimer trying to find a way through. Dummy half is Royce Simmons. Back over to Cartwright. Cartwright eventually forced his way up to a couple of metres short of halfway.
He's been a handful today too, Cartwright, with the ability to stand in tackles and offload.
Back to Green.
Wasn't touched this one.
And taken back there. It's touched first up by Michael Hancock, but a penalty here for the Broncos.
Yeah, well, Izzard probably thought it had to have been touched in flight. But inside the 5 metres, of course, and a chance for Brisbane to look for touch and go back on the attack. 8-5 the penalties in favour of the Panthers.
It'll be Peter Jackson to look for touch as the shadows take up the Sydney Football Stadium. Just that little patch of sunshine coming through. Doesn't mean much sunshine out there today for the Broncos. Penrith leading by 24 to 8. And that is Dowling. Walters. Ooh, got it away over there to Gavin Allen.
He did get his hands free too, Bill, but no one there in close support, which you've got to do with Gavin Allen. Here's Madison.
Madison up over the quarter line. He's working his way across field, still going. Gets a pass outside to Renouf. Renouf is going for the corner, and he's in for the try. Steve Renouf in for the try, and it's 24 to 11.
Brisbane are hitting back, and they needed to do it. Renouf finished off, but it was Terry Madison, the super sub. Have a look at this for determination. In the middle of the ruck, Guy misses him for one. Acceleration, pumping the legs, going forward, important, getting into traffic, and then the pass over the top, perfectly positioned. Renouf there on the spot. He scoots away. The cover defence can't get him. Brisbane scored tries back to back.
Yes, Madison bringing the ball across there, David. What he's been doing since he's come onto the field, he really has injected some angle play with his attack. He's been running across the ruck, not just running straight up and being easy meat for the Penrith defenders, and it really has been some class performances by him. It was a nicely timed pass to get it across to Renouf as well. So Brisbane not looking out of it, but Terry Madison's play, I'm sure, has opened up a lot more opportunities for the Broncos.
So Madison now attempting to convert the try. He's just inside the quarter. And about 6 metres in from touch. So back onto his mark now. He's making quite a name for himself as a replacement player.
Yes, will make a bigger name for himself. He can knock this one over, Bill.
So here's the kick for goal. On its way, just away to the right-hand side of the upright. Really fell away at the end. So the score remains Penrith leading the Broncos by 24 to 12. Ready for the restarted play now, 24 to 12. And that's Alexander to restart it. Well, Alan Langer takes it back there and gives it away to Gavin Allen, as they've done on the last couple of kickoffs. Coming up as dummy half is Walters. He gets it back to Allen again, up over the quarter line. Starting to run it up a bit better now, the Broncos.
Well, Bill, there's 12 points in it with 15, 16 minutes to go. Another try by Brisbane in the next 5 minutes would make it very, very interesting.
Well, it'll give us a nice finish to the match, that's for sure. This is Dowling with it now. Midway between the quarter and halfway, down in Broncos territory. Dummy half, Kieran Walters. Goes himself. Don't know what he was trying to do then, but he's lost the ball. He tried to kick it through. This is Alexander. Look at him go. Working across field. And eventually, gee, there's a heavy tackle coming in.
Yeah, touch late too by G.
It sure was, and Fittler was the man who copped it. Pretty heavy stuff as G comes in again. It was Barry Walker copping it on that occasion. Here's Tony Durkin.
Andrew G certainly has been working overtime today, as did Gavin Allen with that hit. And Andrew G's going to be rewarded for that bill. He'll be coming off, replaced by Bob Conway, a fresh reserve in jersey 26.
Okay, so it'll be Conway for G in the Broncos lineup. So Cartwright out of one, starts to go again, keeps it alive. Renouf came in from the wing. It's touch, another 6 tackles. Smith with it now, right on the quarter line. From the play, the ball away from dummy half is Bentley. Bentley finding plenty of room through there. He's about 9 metres out from the line. From the play, the ball. Smith to dummy half. He decides to go himself. Put down a couple of metres out. Plenty of pressure building up from Penrith now. Alexander swings it away to Cartwright. Cartwright trying to get the long.
Lost it. Johns has got it.
Chris Johns comes away with it all right.
Good strong play from Johns, and that's what you need right on the try line.
Renouf up as dummy half. He'll take it across infield a little bit. Kieran Walters to Dowling. Dowling up to the quarter. Walters dummy half again. Langer to Walters. Keep it long. Jackson gets it away to Willie Kahn. A little bit of room to move. Starts to go, but McIndoe's there to put him down. Jackson dummy half. There's G leaving the field. Conway touching it. He's the replacement. He'll be put down 30 metres out from the Broncos line. It is the final tackle. Back it goes then to Madison. Kicking it down towards Green. Bounced away from him. And eventually regathers. starts to move, but Kevin Walters comes in with a tackle to put him down.
Good result for Brisbane. The kick bouncing away from Green bought time for the chasers. Now Penrith will take also some time to get their team back.
Smith are playing it just inside the quarter.
It's tackle 3 and they're just outside the quarter.
Green, the man to play it now, but a penalty.
Well, Brisbane have been totally unprofessional in the penalties that they have given away in that play the ball movement. Keredwald was the offender there. After they've done good work to kick downfield, 3 tackles, Penrith have gone nowhere. That is dumb, and that is a penalty, and Penrith now getting out of their own territory the easy way.
Well, it just makes it so much harder for yourself, doesn't it?
Well, it makes it very close to impossible, Bill. You cannot allow opportunities like that to just relieve the pressure.
So now it's Penrith in possession, 5 metres inside Broncos territory, and that scoreline of 24 points to 12. 12 and a half minutes remaining in the match. And of course, the loser from here goes in against Manly next Saturday here at the Sydney Football Stadium.
I'm surprised that Penrith aren't trying to work it up the middle here. A field goal would really put them out of trouble.
That's Simmons. Still managed to get it away, which has happened on so many occasions here today.
He's got it, Madison, but stealing the ball. Eddie Ward believing that the tackle had been affected. Guy was held in the tackle. Madison came in. There's Madison making the initial movement. Hone in. Madison steals the ball. Touch and go decision. Dowling being called over now, along with Johns, and he has been sent to the sin bin for 5 minutes. That's fairly typical of Brisbane's dissension. Frustration, obviously, there on the face of Chris Johns. There's only one man with the whistle. Guys are there to play football. Ward to referee the match. He'll call it as he sees it. Here's a chance for Penrith now to get out of that 2-try zone.
Well, Alexander.
4 from 6 there from Alexander today, and this one should not cause him too many concerns.
Taking a fair amount of time with this one as he places it. Makes a little alteration. Now goes right around to the side. A couple of steps across and is ready to go. Here's the kick by Alexander. On its way, and it is there. That's 26 points to 12. Penrith leading the Broncos. So ready for the restart of play now as Michael Hancock drives it downfield. But taken back there by Green, immediately turns it away. And the defence having all sorts of trouble there from the Broncos.
Langer's got this one.
Stolen away from McIndoe and set sail up the centre there, but put down about 10 metres out.
Difference there, the tackle had not been affected.
Back to Dowling. Dowling charging his way up the centre. He'll be put over about 4 metres out. Wallace to dummy half. Here's a chance for the Broncos. He'll swing it back over there to Conway. Conway running wide. He's lost the ball in the tackle. And it's going to be a Penrith ball.
Been a sad day for Brisbane in terms of the fact that they really haven't lifted themselves to this pressure style of football. There's been some pretty ordinary penalties given away. Pressure has been relinquished at vital times. Penrith, on the other hand, have taken their chances. It came from initially Alexander with a very good try in the early stages of solo effort. Izzard and McIndoe, 3 tries in the first half, put Brisbane behind the 8 ball.
And then Brad Izzard scored his second, which really put the issue beyond doubt and opened up the lead at that stage to 24 points to 2. But now it is 26 points to 12. The kick is bouncing down towards the quarter line. It's fielded by Michael Hancock. Got away from Izzard, but couldn't get away from Fittler. Renouf. Very methodical approach by the Panthers today. It's been effective. Simmons wraps up the Bronco player in Hancock. Now Walters trying to spark this attack, turning it back for Langer. Knockback, says referee Eddie Ward. 2 Walters boys combined, but they turn over the possession of the football to Penrith.
Brisbane have consistently tried to turn the pass back on the inside today. I don't think they've stretched Penrith anywhere near enough. A lot of At times they've tried to play too close to the ruck. I'll distinguish that from some good forward rucks. You still need those, but it's always more difficult to interchange passing in and around the ruck, especially in finals where the defence is always going to be very keen.
Well, Wally, psychologically, if they have to face Penrith later in the challenge towards this Winfield Cup for 1990, have this Penrith side scored 4 psychological blows over the Broncos this year?
There's no doubt they've scored psychological blows at all, David, but the one thing for sure that Wayne Bennett will probably be emphasising to the players is that they definitely won't be overconfident when they're playing the Panthers, that's for sure.
Well, it all began at Toowoomba when they won the match in the Channel 10 pre-season challenge. They then won at Lang Park by 26 to 18. And 18 points to 2 at Penrith Park. And today they lead by 26 points to 12. And a couple of other substitutions, Tony.
Yes, David, Ben Alexander is coming on. I think he's coming on for his brother, Greg. I'm not sure of that one. But Greg Barwick, the fullback from reserve grade in jersey 14, is coming onto the field to replace David Green.
There's a break going Brisbane's way. Offside Penrith after they touch the ball. Brisbane on the attack again.
And Penrith still yards offside. Particularly out wide. They move it to the blind with Dowling. Walters away for Gavin Allen. He's tried hard today. Now Alexander unloaded the football. Hancock pushed out of one. Can't get away from his arm. Chris Johns is back on the field. Alexander, Hone. They move it to Allen. Oh, the intercept. This has been the story of the day for Penrith today. Everything has gone right. He's running out of total support. Much to your amazement down there, Wally.
Yes, I think everyone in the place was a little bit confused by where Fittler was going to go on that occasion. He's just turned himself around. I think the Penrith guys were quite entitled to be standing back applauding him on his good work there.
I think Brad Fittler will be asking whether he can have that one again.
I think he might have got that one, Bill, from the Cliff Lyons book of rugby league tactics.
Yes, he covered more territory than the Leyland brothers.
There's a chance now. Brisbane back in possession through Renouf.
It goes away from Madison. As Billy mentioned, has really earned a reputation as being a super sub with this Brisbane side. Had a hand in the try scored by Renouf when he came on as a replacement.
Frustrating this from Brisbane, always looking to turn the ball back on the inside when opportunities abound out wide.
Now it will be Langer to go to dummy half. Poor play the ball by Brisbane. Gavin Allen took up the big charge upfield. Now they're lined to the left with Langer. Nicely picked up by Walters, and the gap just opened right up. Walters with the support, goes on his own, and comes up with a great try for Brisbane.
That's better from Brisbane. Opportunities are out wide. Kevin Walters, the gap was there for him, and he took it. He looked for support as he went through the line, but then realised the fullback in green was going to be nowhere there. Did well to pick it up on the bootstraps, and then the acceleration. Mortimer can't get near him, and then straightens up, decides to go away then from green, and then wants to improve the position. Realising they need a 6-point try, Walters improved the position marginally.
Yes, clever work from Walters here on this occasion. It came from a very bad pass. He did quite well to pick it up. Penrith's defence was a little bit out of alignment, and once Kevin Walters spotted that, he decided to take off for himself, and he certainly has got the speed to get through the gap. But once again, the angled run is the one that picks up the break rather than the run straight up the field.
And you can see there Peter Jackson yelling to him to keep going on his own, and he had the confidence to take on the defence. And comes up with the Broncos' third try. Madison with the attempted conversion again pushes it out to the right. It's 26 points to 16 to the Penrith Panthers. So Greg Alexander with the restart of play, driving it deep down into the in goal. It'll be Willie Kahn, who's seen very little of the football on that right wing today. Oh, that's a great hit by Izzard. He's had a tremendous game, and he's doing it under a fair bit of pressure out there. He's been carrying an injury right through the second half.
Yes, he has been hampered. He scored a great try in the first half when stood from the base of the scrum and went through Kevin Walters. He then was on the spot to back up for a try in the second, but his defence also has been extremely powerful.
Now Allen has probably been one of the picks of the Broncos side today. Jackson, a chance for Renouf if he gets the bounce. That he's got. Support here, but the referee, I can't believe it.
It was called Renouf in front of the kicker, but it didn't appear that by the naked eye. Let's have a look at it. Eddie Ward deciding that Renouf was in front of the kicker and inside the 5 metres. And Eddie Ward there deciding that was the case. Another chance now for Penrith Brisbane. Could well have done with that. That was just the chance they wanted.
Well, we had a pretty good look at that. I never for one moment even thought that Renouf was in front of the kicker.
And the unusual part about it is it was really a back line there set, and normally from that situation, players expecting the pass are obviously back behind.
Cartwright, a good strong run and great defence by Jackson. Now Guy. Jackson in again, thumping him to the ground. Simmons. Oh, there's a knock-on by Barwick. His first touch of the football since coming on.
Brisbane trail by 18-2 at half-time, and yet they have scored the 16 points that were necessary to at least fix up that deficit. But in the meantime, Penrith have come up with further points. Try by Izzard and a penalty by Alexander. The scrums are 6-5 in favour of Brisbane. They've won something today.
Now Langer, giving it away to Willie Kahn. Came to McIndoe and came back inside him. Unloaded the football for Walters. Loose on the ground. Still going for Penrith. A chance. And Johns came back to tidy it up.
Well, Brisbane have not had a lot go for them today, and they tried very hard to let that one go as well. Alexander dribbling it through, but Johns does well to come through, kick at the ball, kick it dead. Penrith, the ball has bounced their way most of the day. Brisbane just getting back to save the day. 26-16, it probably favours the Penrith side. They've been by far the more dominant side.
So next weekend it will be Canberra, the defending premiers, up against Penrith. That will be the Sunday game to be seen on Channel 10 Brisbane at 5:30 next Sunday night. And on Saturday it's live television for the stadium when the Broncos in both grades do battle the reserve grade against North Sydney. We've got a live coverage coming your way of the main game, and that will be between Manly Warringah and the Brisbane Broncos. And now the Broncos, David, are back to a sudden death situation.
Yes, they've got to come back off a loss, and they've got to take on Manly, who'll be extremely confident. But don't write Brisbane off yet. They've got plenty of ability in this side. The day has not been theirs, but they're capable of better.
Well, Manly, of course, Wally, straight to the training paddock again today after that win yesterday.
Yes, he's very forgiving, Graham Lowe, isn't he? The players performed marvellously for him yesterday, and he's had them straight out in the track.
Well, Penrith go through to face Canberra next week. Brisbane to take on Manly. Final score here, 26 points to 16. First semi-final ever win for the Penrith Panthers.